wild mapping video. Why am I saying today's wild mapping video? I can't believe it's soon 2023. We need to start subscribing. Close to our deadline. And what does the Baltics do? But be the Baltics. Yeah, no. The Baltics prove that we're not weak. They prove they're strong. Yeah, why am I saying strong? Don't ask me. And they tail in. Why am I calling it tailing in? Well, Belarus is like, uh-oh. And I just got a message from this Belarus. Belarus has been overthrown in this dimension, and Russia is upset of that. So they send in peacekeeping forces. But yeah, and you know who else sends in peacekeeping forces? Ukraine. And what does Ukraine have to gain from sending peacekeeping forces in? While securing their border with Russia. But you know who is the ultimate winner? The Baltics, as they take Minsk. And they push almost all the way to the Russian forces. But their plan is to try and keep them apart. So they do this. With Ukraine basically managing to do that. Russia managing to almost get there. Why is Russia going so slow in? Because they thought the Belarusian people would let them in. And they thought wrong. And the peace treaty happened. So guys, part is annexed by Ukraine, part is annexed by Russia, but most of this annexation is by the Baltics. And why am I doing the Baltics? Because the Baltics are cold. Enough. Yeah. And what do? But nothing. Why nothing, you may ask? Yes, why would they be doing something? They're trying to sign an alliance with the Finns. What am I even doing? Don't ask me. I don't even know what that tool was. And Ukraine is and Finland joins. Well, I guess Russia is fair now. But they're like, yeah, no, nothing bad can happen. They're the Baltics. Even though Estonia beat you in 1920. Oof. If you can lose to a supposedly weak nation like that, yeah. And they make landings on Sweden's coast. And they open it. With them pushing even down by Denmark and saying, hi, Denmark. And saying, Sweden, that's what you get for saying Estonia can into the Nordics. With Finland sending a massive army in to the north. Don't ask me how. Because of the total defense characteristics. And yeah, they do that. While the Baltics are struggling. Why are the Baltics struggling? Because, well, why wouldn't you in this area? Finland beat the Russians, but then they lost to the Russians 3 times. But Finland starts a mass counteroffensive on the south. This is seeming like the end of the Baltics. They even managed to kick Finland back. They managed to get pushed back to here. Even get their forces encircled. Finland, really? Sweden? And then the Baltics are like, yeah, Sweden. And they take out this encirclement that had 50% of Sweden's army. Oh my god, Sweden. Oof. And Finland does stuff like that. And they push down the coast where nobody is. And well, Sweden eventually comes to terms with their loss. As they get another encirclement with 25% of their army. So their army is 25% of the original size. Well, actually, it's a lot less. And then Sweden is cut in half. Sweden's like, what the? Sweden. Yeah, Sweden. Yep. And then Finland starts their mass annexation. But you think it's a mass one. I said mass, as in they lose a lot of land, but they don't. But they do somehow lose a lot of land, which they avoid giving them any coast in the south. And look at Sweden. And they basically say, yeah, Sweden, you want to know what you are? But a puppet to the Baltics. And you said we couldn't into Nordic, says Estonia, and yet you lost to us. I think I'm a Nordic nation now, says Estonia. This is like a country ball thing. Maybe I should start doing country ball videos. And say country balls take me home. I don't know. But whatever. And yeah, I'm getting a microphone soon. It'll be such a good channel when I get that. I might be getting one soon. Don't know. A good microphone. And yeah, Finland is strong. And them going on to their offensive 4. Their 4th offensive. Which is Denmark, sadly. Poland does not see any problem with the Baltics united. Germany fully mobilizes itself because they know what's happening. While they annex Denmark. Why don't you get... But they don't know when it will be. And the Baltics go after Poland and say Poland. And then Poland's like, what the? Poland? And yeah, they make a landing here. But the Poland was Poland. As they go after one of Poland's cities, the first city to fall isn't even near the border. This is like an embarrassment too. And yeah, the forces coming in from here and doing that, and they continue. Poland loses Warsaw. And they basically do one thing. This. Which the Baltics say, okay. As they do that. But to avoid losing the war and to try and get land from Germany, they do this. And they tell Finland, yeah, Ukraine, yeah, we're good. But do they really invade next? They say Norway. Norway's like, what's the ultimatum? Norway gets sent an ultimatum, which even includes Oslo being demanded. Yeah. You think that was the chances of that happening. Norway actually goes to war. With Russia in a bad spot. Now, you're surrounded by unfriendly neighbors. And then Ukraine's like, what the? Ukraine, yeah. With many things happening. And this happens. Oslo gets taken. Yeah. Oslo does get taken. And then this happens. And then Norway says, uh-oh, I lost Hell. What, Norway? Hell. Norway? Where do you lose Hell? You know Hell is closer to some areas in North America, Hell, Norway, than we are to Paradise. Yeah, I know. And so a peace treaty happens, with Poland finally stripped away of lands. Finland, Sweden, the puppet, and the Baltics. And that's Norway, the puppet. Norway's a puppet. And that island is just independent. Wink. I guess. Well, they decide to invade Germany, who was like, what the Germany? With them launching a major offensive on two fronts into Germany. Experts believe Germany will not make it through this invasion. As they take Hamburg, and then this invasion starts simultaneously, and they take Berlin. A lot of Germans are split on peace or continue as they push into Germany. But the Rhine is being made and Danubes are being used a lot, so they try to push over with about 15 with a big army, which Germany just does that and destroys this army. And then they basically do this with another big army. They push to here, they can't get any further north, but they break through some defensive lines and they manage to encircle Berlin, take it out. The invasion force is down to like 10% of its original force. Managed to do that. Why am I making Germany like a shocker to the video? Because who doesn't want a shock? And they crack into an invasion, a full-scale invasion. And the German people demand a victory. And, well, the German people even make it to here, taking out this puppet. Basically, making this puppet basically a part of the nation of the United Baltics, and then they push in with a sweeping invasion towards Kaliningrad. And this being a shocker. With them headed for Minsk. They take Minsk. They demand peace, but the Baltics still refuse. But they are citing interest in peace. Why am I saying this? Because, well, they just want to reestablish themselves. And this also works as a good excuse to expand and do horrendous acts. And, well, this happens. And, well, peace is eventually losing a bit of land there, making a puppet out of what's of Poland they get. They could have just annexed it like they did. And, well, the Baltics do one more invasion before they do their big show pleaser of this vid. You need to stay till it. Well, it's most expected. Shocker. If you watch Wild Mapper, that is. And they launch their hardest invasion ever to pull off. On two fronts, a country that can survive this, it turns out. And this happens. But then it slows ill. And then this happens. And yeah. Of them slowly being pushed back. This eventually happening. They overcome obstacles and get near Kiev. They encircle Kiev. But they fail to take it, like their ones before them. And they're forced on the retreat in this area. But their plan is to get as far as they can down Ukraine's coast. With Ukraine basically agreeing to Russian peace terms, which weren't fair. Let's be honest. Let's say that's what they annexed, because they probably would get away with it. Should I do a video on and how I think ways the Ukraine war could end? And do like 10 and briefly describe? Or something? What do you guys think? Russia annexes it. Obviously, they're going to annex it now, with this treaty being hitting hard. Especially when the Baltics manage to do this. But they still don't surrender. Eventually, they just sign peace. Which they luck out on for wanting to sign it. They only lose these lands. Directly surrounding Russia's lands, and then a bit of these lands. They are allowed to keep a lot of lands, actually. But then Ukraine kinda is like sick of this. But somebody sees this as an opportunity and they're like, ha 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 ha. After another partition being signed. Which includes our biggest allies. Some of their allies. Including Slovakia. Hungary takes a big chunk of land. Romania takes a huge sweep of land. Moldova takes a huge sweep of land. And then seeing as this country won't survive, the Baltic Union eats it. And that's just because they can. And the defeat ever for Russia. Ever. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah. Now they're ready to die. What? Russia? Says Russia. I know, Russia, you're just Russia. Just rushing around. A Russia joke. America, you know why you're in northern Syria? Because that's where the oil is. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. Not meant to be taken serious. But you know what is meant to be taken serious? That Russia has become a paper tiger because I said so. Ooh. Russia, you ready to see this? Most. Putin, just don't ban this video. Your people must see this. I'm kidding. You will block it. But yeah. And they push in. A sweeping victory. Cut off the railroad and into Crimea they go. Oof, Russia. And then Finland is like, oof. Finland does this. This is in the first 5 days of this war. Let's see what's in for the next 5. Well, this kind of happened. Yeah, kind of looks good for Russia. What do you guys think? And then this area that's cut off does. And then they take St. Petersburg without a fight. But then the winter comes, and then they're like, oh. As Russia comes storming in. And then they're all embarrassed. As Russia manages to humiliatingly defeat this uniting force. But then they're like, hold on, it's summer. Do, 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 do. Yeah. And then they're like, oh. And then the hottest summer ever seen ever happens. And then Russia's like, okay, 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 okay. I'm still going to win. As they capture the Kremlin and Putin is found dead. Oof, Putin. As ethnic minorities left say, can we sign peace? With the Baltic saying, sure, but we demand a huge chunk of land. The hugest chunk ever. And then this is how the Baltics reach their height. And then 10 years after, they just collapse. Out of the blues. Should I make an empire video that has the rise and fall of nations, or would that make a 2 video? Oh my god, I should have started saving those empires. Or I can just make the rise and fall of German series. I think I'm going to make another animatedness of maps. And then this happens with Finland becoming bad. They say, yeah, you guys can have independence, but we demand an occupation safe zone, demilitarized zone. Which is crazy. And how big do they make it? Yeah, they make it this big, so it's hard to reoccupy without them being able to react. What color should we use for occupation? That's nice color. And what should we do? Well, that's just Russia, the new Russia. It's called Russia. But the Baltics basically annexed the heartland of Russia. So I guess we can be happy, Baltics. You are awesome. Now you're unstoppable, sadly, though. I wonder how dangerous this empire would be. Just think of it, how many people would die in all these videos. Well, Germany does something fun. While nobody was looking, Germany Anschluss again. Then they annexed Czechia. Why are they doing this? It's not even your video, Germany. I think somebody should be paying attention to what Germany's next move will be. Annex. And somehow they annex all of France by playing poker. Let's be honest. And then they eat more countries. They just keep playing poker. But then they lose poker to the Baltics. Land. And that's all for today's video. Please like and subscribe. Why should you subscribe? Because subscribing is cool. I have a jalapeno in my hands. Jalapenos taste really good, just to let you know. And yeah, the Wild Mapper is pretty chill. So you should subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers by June. Bye. We're trying to get 100 subscribers by Christmas, the 25th of December. Why? Because that would be chill. Because once you get 100, you start actually getting subscribers. So give everybody to subscribe. We need to hit 100. Chomps on the jalapeno. No, I'm kidding. But I could chomp on the jalapeno. Probably shouldn't. But jalapenos do taste good, so maybe I will chomp on it. Don't know. And what do you think of today's video? Do you think it's chill? Or do you think I should make another animated video? I think if I ever make an animated video again, I'll just keep taking screenshots of Google Maps. Yeah. And yeah, you should be enjoying. And please comment. We've been speeding up with views. 99 yesterday. Can we get to 200? That's how we'll get more subscribers. And the more views, the better. Maybe I'll make another YouTube short to throw out my video everywhere, because I'll blow up into smithereens and spew my tiny symphony. Yeah, everybody. And I'll chew on this jalapeno. Chomp. No, I didn't actually chomp on it. But I should. I will eat it. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. Maybe I'll say all night on a ripe jalapeno. It's starting to turn black. The only reason I picked it is because my arrow garden, it was burning on top. Arrow gardens are very chill. And so is jalapenos. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please like and subscribe. Wild Mappa out! Wild Mappa out.